the way I see it, if you look at most nations, developed nations, the way they've developed, religion has been the bulk of this. It's a way of unifying the nation. Make sure people are all on the same level, and then we can build a future from then on. I would agree as far as that point goes, but to go further, how do you feel that Islam itself will help this nation into greatness?
We always look at religion, especially in the dynamics of the world that exist in the present day, whether that's in the West or in the East. Islam is a very topical discussion, whether Islam is, I just in fact was watching a panel discussion last week led by the Evening Standard, is Islam good for London? And there is a persona around the world that that Islam really is not capable of solving problems. As far as a theological discussion of Islam bringing people together based on a spiritual belief, that's fine. But really we don't see Islam coming out in mainstream and solving problems. I tend to disagree with that, and let's put away the media frenzy on Islam and the negative perceptions that the media has given to Islam, and let's talk about some real solutions. If you look at Pakistan, let me look at the case of Pakistan. Pakistan is split into 4 different provinces. So you have Sindh, you have Northwest Frontier, you have Punjab. And the problem with these provinces, every ruler that's come along has played upon the provincial aspect, and that's created this unity. That really has created this unity amongst the people. In Islam, we don't look at any other person as someone from a particular province. So people of Punjab and the people of Northwest Frontier and the people of Sindh, they are equal. Whereas now if you go to Pakistan, people will class themselves as Punjabi. Other people will class themselves as Sindhi. Other people will actually class themselves as Pathan or Pashtun. Islam has come to eradicate this problem, completely remove this issue. That you are in no way above one another when it comes to your identity. You are equal. So that's, if you like, just like your comment, it unifies people. But then how are we going to solve the problem of, for example, the economy or industrialization? How would Islam look at this? If you look at the problem of Pakistan, what is lacking in Pakistan is not the resources. That, if anyone was to conduct a survey about the resources in Pakistan, you will find that there's a tremendous amount of resources in Pakistan. Whether it's gas, whether it's water, even having nuclear weapons, there's a tremendous amount. What's lacking in Pakistan from the leadership and from the system which is presently in Pakistan is the political will, is the ability to solve people's problems, the need to solve people's problems. That's lacking. And we look at Islam. Islam starts its first basic the way it looks at an economic problem is by looking at people's needs. Not people's wants, not people's luxuries, people's needs. So there's a saying of the Prophet, the Prophet of Islam. He said, very quickly, he said in a narration, he said, the son of Adam has no better right than that he would have a house wherein he may live, a piece of cloth whereby he may cover his nakedness, and a piece of bread and some water. From this saying we build our economic system. It's not befitting to see the stark difference when you go to Pakistan. Suddenly you'll be driving down the road and you'll see these massive mansions. And just when you blink and you open your eyes again, you'll see tents, you'll see people on the streets. That's not befitting. Islam came to actually solve this economic problem. So if you look at the problem with Pakistan, specifically, it's not a problem of wealth. There's an abundance of wealth there. People are very rich there. The country is full of resources. The problem is with the distribution of wealth. The economic system of Islam, it says hoarding is forbidden and distribution is encouraged. So there are certain principles in Islam where we tax, where the rich will be taxed. And every year, a particular time in the year, the rich they will be taxed, and this tax will be used for public amenities. This would increase education. This would increase the public infrastructure. If you look at some roads now, where the ambassadors live and the diplomats live, they are just like the roads of Mayfair and Park Lane. But if you go further down the street, These roads, you need a horse to travel on these roads because the car can't travel. And you find that the economic system of Islam actually deals with this problem. It takes the wealth and you apply these principles. And if you look at anywhere in the Muslim world, in the Eastern world, you won't find there's a problem that there's no wealth. The problem is with the distribution. And Islam gives you a very just economic system that firstly is built on the principle of distribution. So that's just one of the ways that will solve the problem. Secondly, there is a dispute. I'll give you another example very quickly if Usman allows me. There's a dispute going on whether to build a dam, wall or not. It's called the Kalabad Dam, and that dam has been dam is in the Punjab province, and that dispute has been going on for 2 decades. 2 decades. That dispute, shall we build it or shall we not build it? Now, if that project is completed, irrigation for the farming community in Punjab will be brilliant. Energy will be provided for these people. It will be provided for these people. In the Punjab province, that's touching also the province of Sindh, there's a big problem with energy. You have load shedding. It's where the electricity goes for an hour, 2 hours a day. People don't get ACs there. You can't run fridges for an hour or 2 hours a day. So whatever's in your fridge goes up. People have to go and sit under the shade because there's no fans. This problem can quite easily be solved, but actually by solving this problem of the dam. And just relating back to the economics of Islam, Islam encourages to make the focal point of people's needs and public needs. This is the starting point. So it will solve some of these problems in that manner, rather than just leaving it from a theological, looking at things from a theological perspective.
Okay, thank you. We have I'll read one out now. It's for Lindsay. If you do write them down, please say which speaker you want to read. Not all of them are that obvious. This one says to Lindsay, you've said in your talk that in a capitalist society, which we see in Pakistan today, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. If there was a socialist leader in Pakistan, how would this solve the problem of poverty and corruption?
Hi. The way I see it is that it's not great leaders who change society, first of all. I mean, we have had leaders in the past, I mentioned George Washington and Oliver Cromwell before, but these leaders would have had absolutely no power whatsoever if there wasn't a mass movement in support of them and fighting against the old order there. And what I'm saying is that we don't need to have some new socialist-minded leaders, but what I'm saying is that we need a grassroots movement led by the working class that can sweep out these old careerist politicians. And you've got to have figureheads and leader figures who can go there to Parliament and sign the papers off and make all the decisions to represent you. But those leaders, they've got to be held to account. So what I'll say is that if there is a mass working class party, then anybody who's elected to government from that party must be forced to only take the wage of an average worker, not the absolutely massive salaries that politicians award themselves all over the world right now. If I was a member of a mass working class party and a member of the party got elected to government and suddenly decided to give themselves a £1 million paycheck at the taxpayer's expense, I'd say they should be kicked out of the party as the traitors to the working class right there and then. And you've got to hold leaders to account and make sure that they're living the same sort of lifestyle as you, so they remember where they came from. And why do I keep talking about the working class? It's because the working class has got all the economic power in society. For all the power the military or the capitalists or the landlords may have, if all of the working class put their tools down and stop working, then that's it. The entire economy is ground to a halt. What can the military do if there's nobody to drive the trains, to move the tanks around and such like? Throughout history, you've seen that it's when there's something called a general strike, when all the workers in the country down tools and refuse to work. That is when regimes are enormously weakened and changes can be brought in. And, part of the demands of the mass working class party has to be tax the rich, use the resources of society to meet the needs of everybody. That's exactly what socialism is all about, and I don't see any conflict there with what we've been talking about now about Islam, and the economics there.